Alright, we are walking into the glass house. It is Thursday morning, and we are going to take a look at some of the cool stuff. Obviously, this Porsche 917K, formerly owned by Steve McQueen, beautifully presented, and well worth maybe to sit back and get this whole thing done later on this morning. But stunning car, stunning story. The work that went into its preservation and restoration is also amazing. But I wanted to look at Indy cars this morning, so we'll spend the next 15 minutes doing that. The Schuppen Porsche. So these came in as part of the Jackie and Gary Runyon collection. 59 Curtis Offy, run by Foyt. Mechanic is George Bignotti. This was the car that Foyt took into his first IndyCar championship. We'll go a little wider on this. And a truly, truly incredible car. Seal fast roadster, mobile gas Pegasus there. That is a Hemi Cuda in the background. We'll be back with the Mopar stuff. How about this 66 Lola T90 Indy car run by Jackie Stewart? She went to the 6th position at the 500 and was first at the Fuji 200 in Japan. These were men's men. These were not, you couldn't be a sissy and drive a car like this. And the wraparound header design. Jackie Stewart, of course, was involved with Ford at that time. Another cool thing they've got in the background is all these fuel tanks for the teams using to gas their cars up. Andretti. You can see that turbo wrapped around the back there. This was an 83 Lola T700 Cosworth. Mario drove this to wins at Road Atlanta and Las Vegas. Again, you can see the evolution of the tub for the driver inside. '86 Lola T8600 Cosworth, again driven by Andretti. Victory at Pocono. Those of you who know Pocono know that as an IndyCar track, perhaps one of the more scary events of the IndyCar season, just based on what the cars could do there. And you can see the evolution of technology here. It's rear wings. The spill plates on this compared even to this, you can see that moving through the aero process. The exhaust port on the turbo is monstrous here. And that was just 3 years after the car we looked at previous to this. Here's Janet Guthrie's car, and a stand-up of Janet with it. See the technology differential there. Guthrie never did win the event. Finished 5th place at Offenhowser at the Milwaukee Mile. And it was driven in the 79 Indy 500 Texaco sponsorship. As we move forward here, it's the 69 VPJ, Parnelli Jones Ford Indy car driven by Foyt, in the debut of Parnelli's racing program. Of course, Bell's Parnelli, for those of you who know drag racing history, that was on Danny Angeis' Funny Cars at the same time. See again the evolving technology, monocoque construction. George Big Naughty, one of the smartest guys to put stuff together for IndyCar back in those days. Point out the four-wheel drive aspect of this vehicle. It's got the inbound disc brakes here in the front. 71 Morris Barad, driven by Jim Mecum and Saul Walton. IndyCar competition. GT40 setup in there. Dayton Steel Foundry Special. You see again, check out the early aero styling that was going on. Trying to get air around the motor, trying to get air around the car. It's a learning curve to all that stuff. Ford Racing valve covers that motor. And George Morris. These cars are selling at no reserve on Saturday. So, that's the first batch. We will go ahead and we'll take a break and we'll check out the other ones. Jeff Stungard. We are live here at Mecum Kissimmee. It is Thursday morning early, and we are covering the IndyCar display brought in by Jackie and Gary Runyon. These cars are crossing the block on Saturday. Pretty cool history of IndyCar racing. I got to be honest with you, I was never much of a fan until the late John Craman, and rest in peace, JK, the late John Craman, and Bob Ashton and I got on the front straightaway of the Indy 500 about 3 years ago, and I got to stand inside the catch fence right along pit wall and watch them come by, and that racked my world compared to even top fuel cars. So I've got a real appreciation for this technology. We're going to take a look at a few more. Let's go back to 53. OffenhHowser Wazson. This was drove by former IndyCar champion Chuck Stevenson in 1964. Of course, 64, the terrible year when Dave McDonald and Eddie Sachs were killed on that front straightaway fire, second lap. Went up the hill in 2009 at Goodwood. Again, chrome Nerf bar around the back. And dig these high traction tires from back in the day. Safety cord lock Firestone Deluxe Champion, 8 inches wide, and a steering wheel big enough to tilt a ship. Diet Right Cola Special. Haven't heard the Diet Right name much either lately. So. All right, Roger Ward drove this car. This is a Wazson OffenhHowser. The 4th place at Indy 500, 1963, and also a win at the Milwaukee Mile, which was, of course, one of the big highlights of the USAC tour back at that time period. Kaiser Aluminum Special. Another car that went up the hill at Goodwood a couple of times. Again, you can see how impressive this display is right here, just looking at this.
Never seen one this high. Now has the altitude record. You don't see a Suburban with a small block Chevy that's raised 10 inches. I mean,
next, it's another 63 Wazson OffenhHowser. This was commissioned and formerly owned by Parnelli Jones and built by Vintage IndyCar expert Chris Paulson. So this is actually a rebuild. Still a great tribute to that time period. Beautiful gold leaf paint on it. Nicely executed vehicle right here.
That hit me when I walked in the door is this 1938 Monarch snowmower. What?
Again, you can see a little bit of the change in the bodywork. Now, this stuff was all hand hammered. This one's got 2 seats in it. This is again a 1965 Wazson 2-seater replica. Street legal, it says. Okay. Want to go crazy? That's crazy, guys. That's crazy. 2-seater Indy car, street legal. Small block Chevy based on the injector spacing. This car Brock Yates drove. This is a 56 Curtis Craft. Again, another replica. Built by Gary Benu. Brock Yates commissioned this car to be built as part of his heritage. Novi automotive air conditioner special. And then check out the drive shaft between the engine and the. So that's spinning right next to you as you go down the racetrack. Knockoff wheels, very nice. 49 Snowburger Offenhowser Indy car. The 270 inline 4, built by Russell Snowburger. Spiderweb, George Hammond, George Link. Snowburger was a big chassis builder. Shipper's Automotive Special made a promising debut with George Lynch. It crashed into the infield on the first lap. Bill Schneider drove it, Schindler drove it. Chasing Johnny Parsons, mechanical failure forced him out. But again, cool Offy powered vehicle here. Beautiful restoration. Agabashian, Freddie Agabashian was the driver on that car. DA lubricant special. Check out the height on this rear fin on this thing. Wow. Again, offset driver's position because of that drive shaft. That went through the inside of the car. Again, you can see it tucked in back there. Firestone Deluxe Champion, 8-inch tire. VA lubricant special, that's a Curtis Craft. Dwayne Carter driving, Smokey Unick was the crew chief. Offy powered. It's a hard call, man, but I think that might be my favorite one right there. And then finally the 52 Morris, driven by Ed Ellison, 55 Indy 500. Of course, that was the same year that Bill Vukovich was killed. Westwood Gauge and Tool, Dayton, Ohio. Very nicely done red interior in this car. And again, so quite an impressive collection from the Runyons. We'll be going over the block on Saturday. And if you're into IndyCar, this is one to make. This is Stunker. We'll be back.